Good evening, everyone. Today we'll be discussing about fetal circulation. This circulation is totally different from adult circulation. Here you have structures like placenta. Placenta is the important structure in the fetal circulation, which where blood is carried from the mother to the fetus as well as from the fetus via umbilical arteries. It will be returned back to the placenta. So this placenta is connected to the fetus via an umbilical cord, which is comprising of two umbilical arteries and one umbilical vein. Umbilical vein carries oxygenated blood while umbilical arteries carries deoxygenated blood. As in this picture, you can see some structures like ductus venosus, foramen ovale, ductus arteriosus, umbilical arteries. So these are few important structures which we have to remember in fetal circulation. So this term fetal circulation usually include the entire feto-placental circulation, which includes the umbilical cord as well as the blood vessels within the placenta that carry the fetal blood. As fetus, the lungs of the fetus are not functional. Total blood circulation will be carried from the mother via placenta. That is why we term it as feto-placental circulation, the circulation that is happening between the placenta and the fetus, feto-placental circulation. So which includes structures of the umbilical cord. Structures of umbilical cord are nothing but we term it as umbilical arteries as well as umbilical vein, and the blood vessels within the placenta that carry the fetal blood. So here we have few important temporary structures which we have to remember. Those are umbilical vein, ductus venosus, foramen ovale, ductus arteriosus, as well as the hypogastric arteries. Umbilical vein is one of the important structure, and this is the only structure or the blood vessel which is carrying 100% of oxygenated blood from the placenta towards the fetus. So this vein leads from the umbilical cord to the underside of the liver and carries blood rich in oxygen as well as the nutrients. Ductus venosus, which is an opening present between a vein to vein. There is a small connection present between the inferior vena cava as well as the umbilical vein, which is reaching just underneath the liver. So that portion we term it as ductus venosus. So this is the point from where mixed blood will be reaching. That is, inferior vena cava normally carries deoxygenated blood from the lower parts of the body of the fetus, while umbilical vein is carrying 100% of oxygenated blood from the placenta towards the fetus. So here there is a connection between umbilical vein as well as the inferior vena cava where mixed blood will be started. So this till this portion where before reaching this ductus venosus, only till that portion we can see 100% of oxygenated blood. From this ductus venosus onwards, we can see mixed blood traveling through the blood vessels of the fetus. The next temporary structure is the foramen ovale, which is a temporary opening again present between the atrium, two atrium, right atrium as well as the left atrium. So normally in adults there is an interatrial septum which is dividing the right atrium as well as the left atrium, but here there is a temporary oval shaped opening which we term it as foramen ovale. This again allows majority of the blood that is reaching from the inferior vena cava to the right atrium towards the left atrium. So that is how pumping will be seen here in this fetal circulation. One more structure is the ductus arteriosus, which is again an opening present between an artery to artery. Here you can see a artery, an opening present between the bifurcation of the descending aorta as well as the pulmonary artery. So there is pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle, while descending aorta carries oxygenated blood from the left ventricle. So here again a little more of mixing will happen at the level of ductus arteriosus. And one more structure, hypogastric arteries. These will be branching off from the internal iliac arteries when they enter the umbilical cord. That means here these are the structures which are carrying total of deoxygenated blood from the fetus towards the placenta. That is, it is reaching the umbilical cord via umbilical arteries. So these are the temporary structures which we can see in the fetal circulation. So here in this figure also you can see the ductus arteriosus present between the pulmonary artery as well as the descending aorta. There is an oval shaped structure present between right atrium and left atrium which is termed as foramen ovale. There is an opening present between a vein to vein, that is umbilical vein, and the inferior vena cava which is termed as ductus venosus, and these are the hypogastric arteries which is a continuation of the internal iliac arteries carried off towards the umbilical arteries.